I'm going to talk about the most common issue that editors find with a writer. And quite often a writer, when they come to a story coach editor, they don't quite know what a scene is yet. They don't know how to put in a scene where a scene break should go for the most effective use of their scene in terms of pacing and flow. And they don't really understand how to scene by scene edit. And so our research has really shown us writers struggle with what is a scene and how do they make the most of it. And our thesis, of course, is, a story is made up of scenes, and a great story is made up of great scenes. And so let's try and help writers make every scene the best scene possible. So a scene is simply a section of a novel where a character or characters engage in action or dialogue. And dialogue is often seen also as action, that it's very fast paced. It's two characters interacting. So when you combine actual action with dialogue, you have a very moving scene. And so when we talk to writers, we recommend, especially for newer writers, they're looking at character, plot, and setting. In every scene, there will be characters, there will be a plot, and there will be a setting. And so that's why we've broken everything out into characters, plot, and setting to give a structure of how an editor or writer can look at a book. And so as an editor, part of your role is to recommend when a new scene should start. And as a writer, you need to figure out when you're starting a new scene. And what that means is when the point of view character changes, when the location changes, or when the time changes. And so with an author that has full point of view control, they don't necessarily need to do this. You'll see there's some very famous authors like Nora Roberts and Louise Penny. They change point of view mid-scene, but they really know how to do it quickly and effectively, and so it doesn't confuse the reader. And so I always recommend that first, point of view control is paramount to an author, and they must learn how to do that. And once they know how to do it and control it, then they can decide within a scene. But if they're forced at the beginning to make a new scene for every point of view, they start to understand it and get real control over it. If the location changes, that's another place a new scene can start. Doesn't have to, but it can. Sometimes by starting a new scene, if, for example, I'm in my office and I'm going to go up to my kitchen, there's some dramatic thing happening up there in the next scene. You don't really, as a reader, need to know that I walked down the hallway and I went up my stairs and I turned right. And so if all that is necessary to get me to the kitchen, it can be cut and a new scene starts. If there's something necessary in the journey, then of course it should stay there. And the same reasoning with time. If there's a jump in time, flashback in time, anything with time, a new scene can start. And again, it's all recommendations. And you use this also to, if a scene is too long, then you want to look at a scene. So say an average scene is 1,000 words in somebody's novel, and then all of a sudden there's a 3,000 or a 5,000 word scene. Then you read the scene as an editor, or if you're looking at your own book and go, okay, well, does the point of view change anywhere? Is the location change or a time change? That makes a natural spot to split the scene into two. And then the writer doesn't actually have to do much but split a scene, and all of a sudden the pacing is faster and it's better for them. Ending the scene, also a tricky area, but really there must be an exit hook. And the big thing to look at is, do the exit hooks have variety? So is there a cliffhanger, an unanswered question, a plot twist, a secret revealed? With the exception of the final scene of the book, if there's a great big exit hook, the reader is frustrated because the book should be over. So other than the last scene, there's got to be something drawing the reader forward. And the exit hooks after climax in the resolution, if there's more than one scene, will be softer. So it's something that the reader wants to finish, but it's not the exit hooks, for example, leading up to the climax. And so there's a balance in strength and variety, and that's going to draw the reader forward.